Every movement upon its surface becomes part of the song, from the ripple of fish to the glide of dragonflies skimming just above the water. As the day wears on, the jungle grows louder. The calls of monkeys intensify, birds cry in unison, and the rustle of unseen creatures stirs the undergrowth. Butterflies drift gracefully, wings flashing in bursts of color, while snakes move unseen beneath the leaves, their silent paths hidden from all but the most attentive eyes. The rhythm grows into a roar of life, a reminder that here, everything is connected, every creature playing its part in the endless symphony of survival. When the evening comes, the heartbeat slows but does not stop. Owls begin their watch, their haunting calls rising into the night. Bats flutter overhead, filling the air with faint, rapid cries, while frogs and crickets take the lead in the chorus of sound. The jungle never sleeps, it only changes its rhythm, beating endlessly through day and night. This pulse, strong and eternal, is the heartbeat of the jungle, a song of life that has echoed since the beginning of time. High above the earth, the sky opens like an endless canvas, painted with shifting clouds and the soft glow of the sun. It is here, in the wide open air, that life takes on a different rhythm, a rhythm of wings beating against the wind, of freedom carried over great distances. Eagles rise with powerful strokes, their broad wings cutting through the currents, their sharp cries echoing across valleys below. With every glide, they command the horizon, surveying the world from heights where no other creature dares to roam. Flocks of birds move in unison, each wing beat aligned as if guided by an unseen conductor. From tiny sparrows darting swiftly through the trees to great storks flying steadily over rivers, every flight tells a story. Geese form perfect lines across the sky, their calls carried on the wind, guiding them on journeys that stretch for thousands of miles. Even the smallest butterfly, fragile in its design, drifts effortlessly with the breeze, its delicate wings glowing like stained glass in the sunlight. Together, they fill the air with motion, painting the sky with life. Closer to the ground, hawks circle with patient precision, their eyes scanning for the faintest movement. Their shadows sweep silently across the savanna, startling herds of zebras and deer into cautious attention. Above the rivers, kingfishers dive suddenly, breaking the surface with splashes as they rise again, a glimmer of silver fish caught in their beaks. Every wing in motion becomes a part of the greater balance, predator and prey, hunter and survivor, all guided by the endless horizon. As the day grows warmer, vultures rise into the sky, carried not by force but by the invisible lift of air currents. They drift effortlessly, circles widening, their watchful eyes fixed on the land below. Below them, insects hum and dragonflies dart, wings catching the sun in flashes of iridescent color. Bats, though hidden in daylight, wait patiently in their dark shelters, ready to claim the night sky when the sun fades. From the greatest eagle to the smallest moth, the story of wings is one of endurance, survival, and beauty. When dusk begins to settle, the horizon transforms. Swallows streak across the fading light, their swift arcs tracing the last colors of day. Owls rise from the shadows, their wings silent, their movements ghostly in the twilight. Bats scatter into the night, filling the dark with countless flickering shapes. The sky, once bright and open, becomes a canvas of stars, yet still, the rhythm of wings continues. Each beat carries life forward, beyond mountains, rivers, and forests, into places unseen, across distances unknown. The horizon belongs to those who dare to rise above it. In the endless flight of birds, in the silent glide of owls, in the fragile dance of butterflies, we are reminded of the boundless spirit of nature. Through wings, the earth finds its connection to the sky, and the story of life reaches beyond the land itself, stretching endlessly toward the horizon. When the sun sinks below the horizon and the last glow of twilight fades, the jungle and plains transform into a world of shadows and silence. Yet in this darkness, life does not rest, it simply changes its rhythm. The night is alive, filled with secrets that only reveal themselves under the soft glow of the moon and the countless stars above. The air cools, carrying the faint scent of damp earth, and every sound seems sharper, every movement more mysterious. Owls emerge from their hidden perches, wings spread wide, gliding soundlessly through the trees. Their haunting calls echo in the distance, marking their presence in the stillness. Bats flicker across the night sky, countless in number, their rapid wings slicing through the dark as they hunt with precision unseen by human eyes. Below, insects rise in great clouds, their buzzing carried on the night air, filling the silence with a steady hum that never ceases. On the forest floor, the leopard awakens, eyes glowing like embers in the moonlight. Its steps are soundless, each pawfall deliberate, blending into the silence as it moves through tall grass. Deer gather closely, their ears twitching at the faintest rustle, every sense heightened against the hidden dangers of the dark. Hyenas begin their laughter in the distance, sharp and unsettling, echoing across the plains like a chorus of ghosts. In the cover of night, the balance of predator and prey grows sharper, more fragile, more urgent. The river reflects the moon's silver glow, carrying its light across the land. Crocodiles drift silently beneath the surface, their eyes glimmering just above the water. Frogs begin their chorus, deep calls rolling across the stillness, while crickets add their sharp rhythm, turning the night into a living orchestra. Fireflies appear between the trees, their gentle light flashing in rhythm, as though the stars themselves had descended into the forest. Insects, tiny and tireless, command the night as much as the great hunters do. As the hours pass, the voices of the night rise together. Jackals cry out across the plains, wolves lift their heads to sing beneath the stars, and the distant roar of a lion rumbles like thunder through the darkness. Each sound tells a story of hunger, of survival, of territory claimed and defended. Yet, in the stillness between these calls, there is a peace that belongs only to the night. A peace wrapped in shadows, where every secret of the wild waits quietly to be discovered. When dawn begins to stir, the secrets of the night retreat once more. Owls return to their hidden perches, bats vanish into their caves, and the first songs of birds break through the silence. The predators rest, the insects quiet, and the world prepares to awaken once more in light. Yet the memory of the night lingers, carried in whispers of the wind, reminding us that darkness is not the absence of life. It is another stage of the eternal story. In the heart of the wild, the night holds its own mysteries, its own beauty, and its own truths. In the wild, life is a song that never ends, a symphony where every creature plays its part. Each note is survival, each rhythm a heartbeat, each harmony a connection between predator, prey, and the land itself. It is a music that rises and falls with the seasons, conducted by the forces of nature. The winds carry its whispers, the rivers shape its flow, and the creatures of the earth perform it with every breath they take. On the grasslands, herds of antelope move like flowing rivers, their hooves drumming against the soil in perfect rhythm. Their flight is not chaos but a dance, choreographed by instinct, teaching them when to move, when to pause, when to listen. Behind them, lions and cheetahs stalk with patient precision, silent yet intense, waiting for the right moment. The chase that follows is not cruelty, but part of the greater music, the drumbeat of survival that has echoed since the dawn of time. In the rivers, fish leap from the water, glistening in the sunlight, while crocodiles remain still, eyes just above the surface, waiting in silence. Birds swoop down with sharp calls, their wings slicing through the air as they dive for food. Frogs and insects add their own voices, their chorus filling the night with rhythm. This is survival as melody, sometimes soft, sometimes harsh, but always essential, always true. High in the skies, eagles circle, their wings catching the currents of the wind. Their sharp cries pierce the silence, a solo that commands attention across valleys and hills. Far below, wolves move in packs, howling in unison to mark their place in the wilderness. Each sound, each movement, becomes a layer in the symphony, blending together into a grand composition only nature can create. Even the smallest creatures play their parts. Bees hum tirelessly as they move from flower to flower, weaving threads of life that hold entire ecosystems together. Ants march in lines, silent workers whose efforts feed countless others. Fireflies glow softly in the darkness, their silent flashes like notes of light written into the score of the night. Their presence may be small, but their contribution is vital, proving that no voice in the symphony is ever too quiet to matter. The symphony of survival is not about perfection, nor is it about peace. It is about balance, about the eternal struggle that ensures life continues. Every predator that hunts, every prey that flees, every bird that sings, and every insect that hums is part of this vast orchestra. Together they create a story that has been told for millions of years, a song that will echo long after we are gone. In this music, there is no end, only the constant rhythm of life and survival, carried on the winds of the wild.
I started filming wildlife because I wanted to understand what the world looked like when nobody was watching. At first, I thought I was going into the jungle to find animals. But after a few years, I realized that I was actually going there to find moments. Sometimes those moments came from a lion resting beneath a tree. Sometimes they came from a herd of elephants moving slowly across the land. And sometimes there was no animal at all. Just the sound of wind moving through the trees, birds calling somewhere in the distance, and sunlight breaking through the leaves. Those quiet moments became some of my favorite memories. I remember one morning when I had been waiting for hours with my camera. The forest was almost completely silent. I was beginning to think that nothing was going to happen. Then I noticed movement in the distance. It was an elephant. It wasn't doing anything dramatic. It was simply walking through the landscape, slowly and calmly, as if it had all the time in the world. I watched it for several minutes, and something about that moment stayed with me. We spend so much of our lives rushing from one thing to another. Out there, everything feels different. An elephant can spend minutes simply standing still. A lion can rest beneath a tree for most of the day. A leopard can disappear into the shadows and wait patiently for the right moment. Nature has its own sense of time, and when you spend enough time in the wild, you begin to change with it. You become quieter. You start noticing small things: the movement of grass, the sound of water, the footprints left behind in the mud. Even the birds become part of the story. I have filmed places where the jungle felt almost alive around me. There were birds flying above the trees, insects moving through the vegetation, monkeys calling from somewhere I couldn't see, and animals moving quietly through the background. You don't always know what you're going to find. That's what makes wildlife so addictive. One day you might spend hours following elephants. The next day, you might be standing beside a river watching crocodiles barely move beneath the surface. And then, completely unexpectedly, you might see a leopard resting high in a tree. Every day brings something different. I remember one river where I spent an entire afternoon waiting for a crocodile to move. At first, I thought the animal was simply part of the landscape. It was so still that it almost looked like a piece of the riverbank. But that's the thing about wildlife. The longer you watch, the more you begin to understand. A small movement can tell you that an animal is awake. A change in direction can tell you that something has caught its attention. Even silence can mean something. I've learned never to underestimate a quiet forest. Some of the most incredible encounters I've experienced started with absolutely nothing happening. You might be walking through the trees, hearing nothing but your own footsteps, and suddenly you notice a pair of eyes watching from the shadows. I've had that feeling more times than I can remember, and every time my first reaction is the same. Stop. Stay calm. Observe. That's one of the biggest lessons wildlife has taught me. You don't control the moment. You wait for it. I've watched lions from a distance while the sun slowly moved across the landscape. I've watched elephants gather around their young. I've watched birds move across the sky as storms approached. I've seen crocodiles disappear beneath dark water. And I've watched big cats move through grass so quietly that sometimes you almost forget they're there. Every animal has its own personality. That's something I never understood before I started filming. A lion doesn't feel like an elephant. An elephant doesn't move like a leopard. And a crocodile has an entirely different way of surviving. But they all share the same world. That is what fascinates me. Everything is connected. The river supports one life. The forest supports another. The grass feeds one animal, while another animal depends on that animal for survival. Even the smallest creatures have a place in the bigger picture. And when you're standing there with a camera, you begin to see that you're not just recording individual animals. You're recording an entire system. There were days when I went into the wilderness hoping to capture something spectacular and came back with almost nothing. No perfect photograph. No dramatic encounter. Sometimes not even a clear shot. But I never considered those days wasted, because I still saw something. Maybe it was the way sunlight changed the color of the forest. Maybe it was rain falling over the grasslands. Maybe it was a group of elephants disappearing into the distance. Maybe it was just a bird sitting quietly on a branch. Those things matter too. Wildlife isn't always about action. Sometimes beauty is simply being there. I've spent nights in places where the darkness felt completely different from anything you experience in a city. You hear sounds coming from every direction. Something moving through the grass. Birds calling from far away. Branches moving in the wind. Water flowing somewhere nearby. And then, suddenly, everything becomes quiet again. Those nights taught me to respect the wilderness. Because out there, you're not the most important thing. You're a visitor. And I think that's the right way to experience nature. With curiosity, but also with respect. I've always tried to keep my distance from the animals I film. The best wildlife footage isn't about getting dangerously close. It's about understanding behavior. It's about patience. It's about giving the animal enough space to remain itself. When you do that, something beautiful happens. The animal stops reacting to you, continues its life, and that's when you get to see something real. I've seen elephants play in water. I've watched young animals stay close to their mothers. I've seen predators resting after long periods of movement. I've watched birds suddenly fill the sky. I've seen forests change completely after rain. And every time I think I've seen it all, nature surprises me again. That's probably the reason I still carry a camera. I don't carry it because I believe I can capture everything. I know I can't. A camera can record an image, can record sound, can preserve a few seconds of a moment. But it can't completely capture what it feels like to stand in the middle of a forest while thousands of sounds surround you. It can't capture the feeling of watching an elephant walk through morning mist. It can't capture the silence when a predator appears in the distance. And it can't capture the feeling you get when you realize that you've just witnessed something you may never see again. Those experiences stay with you. I still remember places I haven't visited in years. I remember the smell of wet soil. I remember the heat of the afternoon. I remember standing near rivers and watching the water move past me. I remember looking across open grasslands and seeing animals scattered across the horizon. And I remember those moments when I simply lowered my camera and watched. Because sometimes you have to stop recording. Sometimes you have to experience the moment for yourself. That's something I learned much later in my career. In the beginning, I wanted every moment on camera. Now, I understand that some moments are meant to stay in your memory. Wildlife changed my perspective on life. It made me more patient. It made me more observant. And it reminded me that the natural world doesn't operate according to our schedule. The sun rises. The animals move. The river flows. The forest changes. And life continues whether we're there to see it or not. That's what makes every journey different. You can return to the same place after a year and it won't feel exactly the same. The animals may be different. The weather may be different. The light may be different. Even you are different. And maybe that's why I never get tired of filming wildlife. I'm not looking for the same moment again. I'm looking for the next one. Maybe tomorrow I'll see elephants crossing a river. Maybe I'll spend the morning watching lions. Maybe a leopard will appear between the trees. Maybe I'll see crocodiles resting near the water. Or maybe I'll spend the entire day looking at nothing but trees and clouds. And honestly, I'm okay with that, because after all these years, I've learned that the wilderness doesn't owe us a spectacle. We are simply fortunate enough to witness whatever it decides to show us. And every time I walk back into the jungle with my camera, I feel the same excitement I felt when I started. I don't know what's waiting beyond the next tree. I don't know what will appear beside the next river. I don't know which animal will become the memory I carry home. And that's exactly why I keep coming back. Because somewhere out there, another story is already happening. I just have to be there when it does. I'm Matthew, and this is what the wild has taught me. You don't have to control nature. You don't have to understand everything. Sometimes you just have to slow down, watch carefully, and let the wilderness tell